today we are blessed to have Fire Station 1 here. And Captain, I'll let you introduce your crew here in just a minute. Today's topic is all about safety in the home. We want to ignite your safety. We're going to talk about storm safety. We're going to talk about fire safety and just issues that pop up for seniors while we're trying to live in our own home or potentially even in assisted living, okay? We'll have a couple people up later on talk about ways that we can help educate you and get you more personal information about your situation. So we'll go through that. But Captain, I'm going to pass this down the row.
Good morning. I'm Captain Gordon with Firehouse 1. This is the members of Truck 1. So our firehouse is basically an engine and a truck, and we each have a different job at a fire, and we can explain that to you if you want. But this is, I'll let everyone else introduce themselves real quick.
Firefighter Colin Gabler.
Firefighter Johnny Doffing.
Firefighter Bryce Becker.
And Bryce Becker was a Marine that served us proudly. So anyway.
All right, I'll let you guys keep that one, and I'll use this one, okay? So, gentlemen, when we have something that happens in a home situation, and you guys are arriving first on scene, what are the first things in your initial assessment that you're looking for, especially if you find out this might be the home of a senior?
We're looking at access, like what does your front door and maybe your rear door look like? Can you get in and out of it? And what's the status of your windows? Can we get to your windows? Are they overgrown? Can we get to them, in a manner to where it's quicker? Because we always want to be able to get to your bedroom window faster. So that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. And then obviously we're looking for once we're inside, if somebody's struggling a little bit or needs help or isn't having trouble. We're not the police, but we're not here to report anybody. But we're always looking for, hey, are you having trouble with this? And then maybe we can refer someone to some resources. Or maybe it's a daughter that's at the parents' house and her parents are struggling, and so we'll maybe have a discussion about, is there something that we can do to, like they're falling a lot or something like that? What resources are there to? Everybody has that moment where you kind of have to consider, I need a hand, I need help. Nobody, we're all kind of proud, strong individuals, and people don't like to do that, but sometimes you have to be willing to do that. You guys got anything else that you guys look for?
So you guys aren't just responding to fires, you respond to lift assists, to seniors falling, to sometimes even just, hey, I haven't seen my neighbor in a couple of days, right?
Yeah, we go to all kinds of things. Generally, EMS comes and they're the transfer agency that's run by the county. And some of you are probably unfortunate enough to know that. So what we do is they send us on a majority of the medical alarms and different things. And then us, like the police department or the sheriff's department, law enforcement, we have what's a public safety mandate. So like where EMS does not. So we're in general, have a duty to act to just for your welfare constantly. So when things fall into like the miscellaneous category, that's where the whole cat and trees things comes from, and from when you were kids.
I was going to ask about
that. But just like, we don't know what to do, call the firemen. But there's some truth to that. Like we do all kinds of random things for people, whether it's dogs getting their heads stuck in objects to, I don't know, what are some other weird things you guys have been to? These are some weird guys. They've been to some weird stuff. Yeah, okay, he says they're morbid. We don't want to talk about it. Okay, but all kinds of different things. Does that make sense? But yeah, a lot of lift assists. So if you, my grandparents, when they lived in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and they started getting older, I encouraged them to, because they're, proud, strong individuals like I'm sure you are, and when they started falling or having a little bit of a problem, I encouraged them, just call 911, and the Fort Dodge Fire Department will come help lift you up. And they didn't believe me, and then finally in the middle of the night, they couldn't get a hold of me or my parents, and so they did. And the fire department came, and it was really encouraging moment for them to know that there's somebody there that can come help them. Do we love picking up people in the middle of the night? No, not really, but we love helping people. So we're always willing to we don't ever want anyone to fall and not be able to get up. But we do a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I was just out yesterday, and I was speaking with this lady, and she's had the firemen out to her residence several times in the last week or so. And I kind of joked with her. I was like, are you just doing it for the firemen to come out, or what's going on, right? And she chuckled. She said, well, that one tall guy that blocked the sun today, he was pretty good looking, right? She had fallen outside, and so.
It wasn't any of us. We're not too telling you.
No. So let me ask you this. When you're going into the home, what are some of the common, especially those falls or those lift assists, what are some of the common things you guys are seeing that are, maybe it's a coffee table in the way, or these throw rugs that are constantly tripping people up? What are some of the things that you guys see?
Well, when we're younger, I don't know if any of you guys have any examples of things you see. I mean, we move a lot of objects in people's houses. We kind of make ourselves at home. But you got something good? Yeah.
So, I know as you get aged, sometimes you take for granted footwear even. Your feet are cold, so you're wearing socks in the middle of the night. Most everybody has like a hardwood floor anymore. We see a lot of them where somebody's feet just went out from under them because they've got slippery socks. So, or even you have those socks with the grip on the bottom, but they're a year and a half old. I mean, that grip starts to wear out. So it's just little things that you might take for granted. And some of those falls can be a little bit catastrophic. I mean, it's not always just a gently to your knees and down. I mean, some folks go down and their head hits something, or they just end up in a bad position, and it's going to take us a little bit to get there. And sometimes the way that they're laying can actually lead to some deeper problems.
But you just want to consider, if someone makes a suggestion like, hey, maybe you shouldn't keep this here anymore. I mean, sometimes we'll softly do that with people, or say, hey, this, usually that it's just usually the occupant of the home agrees with us, and they're like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. I've had that there for 30 years. Yeah, say, well, it's not a very good idea any longer. So sometimes we'll make some. A lot of it is, kitchens can get kind of cluttered. You just want to try to, if you need help with taking your rubbish out or keeping things clean, let somebody know that can help you to where you just don't want to have things everywhere that creates a fall hazard. And we see a lot of that, depending on. And a lot of people when they're younger, some people are just messy, and we go to a lot of homes that are. You wouldn't believe it. It's pretty messy. It's pretty bad. But yeah, and so then as those people age and don't move as well, it gets into what we would call, hoarding conditions or excessive storage, where so because it's you can't. Just so you guys know, I can't say, Tom, you're a hoarder, because if I do that, I'm technically violating his HIPAA rights, because there can be some mental illness involved in different things that cause people to. Everybody knows somebody that just, I can't throw that away. I collect it. You collect trash bags, but they do. And so what we'll call it excessive storage, or they're an excessive storer. We might say hoarding amongst us. And that's okay, but so you'll hear a lot of people use the term excessive storage. It's kind of caught on, just to keep someone from ever saying, Patricia, you're a hoarder, because I really shouldn't do that, because that's saying like just announcing you have a heart condition to everybody, and I'm violating your HIPAA rights. Does that make sense?
Thank you for that. Let me ask you this: a lot of times when you guys get called out and you're going into the homes, are there additional resources that you guys are able to issue through the department, or are you able to make additional social work calls? What happens if you have those frequent flyers?
We have a form called a links form. That's a lot of social services are there we go. A lot of social services change over time. So if I give you a little bit of information that's not like the right form to fill out or whatever, just forgive me. But we have a form called a links form, and what that will do is that'll activate the county and a couple different agencies that say, what can we do to try to help this, what we call frequent flyer, or Bob that's falling all the time, and Bob is not really wanting help. He just wants us to get him up every day, which we're happy to get him up every day. But another answer starts to present itself as like, Bob shouldn't be here anymore by himself. But at the same time, this is America, and we have rights, and he's a free man. And if Bob wants to stay there, I understand that. But Bob needs help. So what can we do to help Bob? And so then there's some different agencies that can try to help you. And it's hard to say which one it will be. Could get something that gets routed through United Way, or there's different ways to help that get outside of what we do, but we kind of refer that off. And then we have another thing called ICT 1 that focuses a little bit more on the mental illness side, and like there's nothing physically wrong with them to where they are going to perish or decline physically unless they choose to do something that's not good for themselves. And so we have a special unit that's on sometimes that will go to stuff like that. And the police will go to that because they're here to, the police officers are really, really great, and they're very interested in everybody's well-being all the time and your safety.
Absolutely. And one of the final pieces that I want to make sure that we touch on before whoever knows happens, right, is evacuation plans. I know the fire marshal, we drum this into everybody as children, and we talk about, you have to have a plan where you're going to meet and everything else, but as people age and their ambulation or their mobility changes, how often do you think they should reevaluate that, or do you guys even see people even touching on it at home?
You guys got anything? To be brutally honest, I feel like people are ignoring the seniors and evacuation plans. We focus on it with children and younger families because they think, well, children need help taking care of themselves. But if you're having a mobility problem and you're doing great upstairs, or the opposite, you're really, really mobile and maybe you're not quite as sharp upstairs, you can need help out. So it's really probably a deficit and something that we need to address in the community of just doing repetitions, right? Everything we have is perishable skills, right? We talk about that a lot at work. Like if we practice the things that we really need to, that are really important for us to help you, like stretching a hose line, throwing a ladder. If we don't do those things, our skills perish and aren't as refined. So the same thing can be applied to, oh my gosh, my house is on fire. What am I going to do? And if you haven't thought about it in 30 years or 40 years, or since your children left the home, you're immediately at a disadvantage. So I'd encourage you to keep your rear door clear of clutter and debris. Keep your front door clear. We find refrigerators, all kinds of weird things, and I don't use my back door. Well, what if you can't go out your front door? Don't have your windows painted shut, because Johnny here is what we call the OV, the outside vent man. And so his job at a fire is to make laps around your house. And hopefully on the first lap, he figures out which one is your bedroom. And then he's going to come in your window, whether you like it or not, and try to find you. Me and the can man will come in the front door with the engine, which will be coming in with the purpose to put the fire out, and we'll be looking for you through your front door. And then as he continues his lap, he's going to stop at your rear door, force it, open it. If it's unlocked, he'll just open it like a gentleman. And we find a lot of people right there at the rear door that get caught up in debris and clutter and cannot get out. So you want to keep that, like I said, keep that clear. And he'll just continue to do laps around your house until basically the fire wraps up. And so we want to keep your windows to where they can work. We're just gonna destroy your window and open it up, I'll be honest with you. But if you're opening your window and you're ambulatory, you're able to move around, you're just gonna slide your window open and get out. So keep your windows functioning also. Does that make sense? Okay. And sleep with your bedroom door closed, please. Because if you have a fire on the other side of your house, if your bedroom door is closed, the OV, Johnny, he is hoping to find you in your bedroom with your bedroom door closed. He's really comfortable finding you asleep because maybe you don't even know about it yet. Maybe you don't hear the smoke alarm. Hopefully everybody got a smoke alarm. So what you want to do is have that bedroom door closed so you may not even know you have a fire. We're kind of okay like pulling you out your window. It's because then we're just keeping you away from a lot of the danger the whole time. It sounds a little brash, but it's just a safer way to get you out of your house. Because the rest of your house is contaminated from the fire, if that makes sense. It really, like, uninhabitable. You won't, if you go out and you have a fire on the other side of your home, like, there's a good chance you can't make it from your bedroom to the front door or rear door. But not saying it's impossible, but your chances are, if your bedroom door is shut, your survivability goes like exponentially higher. So and if you don't have a bedroom door, hire a carpenter and put one on.
I like that. And you want to talk a little bit more about smoke detectors?
Yeah. When do we change our smoke detector batteries?
Twice a year. Twice a year. I do mine at daylight savings. It happens twice a year, roughly 6 months apart. So when you change your clocks, check your smoke detector, change the batteries. Any
idea what you guys recommend for how many you need? I've got the cheat sheet in front of me if you want.
I would say in the area of each sleep, on every level, let's see how right I am, on every level, in the area, the outside area of every bedroom area, and near every cooking area. What does it say? How many do you need?
Every level is number one. Every level.
I'd also encourage you to have a carbon monoxide monitor. They don't last that long, I'll be honest with you, but just buy one twice a year when you're at Walmart, and because does everybody know that carbon monoxide is tasteless, odorless, and when we make a bad carbon monoxide alarm, that can be fatal, unfortunately, but usually the person or people that perished in the home, really had no idea. They really probably just died in their sleep. But we want to try to prevent that where there's just no warning that anything's going on.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Any questions for Wichita Fire while they're here?
All right, go ahead. Those home fire extinguishers that are about 8-10 inches tall, about that round, how long do those really last?
They're supposed to be looked at every year by a service company, but it has a tag on it that'll tell you when it expires. Those are usually pretty good, but I'd get them looked at every year I wouldn't get them looked at twice a year, but at least once a year when you're changing out your batteries on your smoke detector. That's what I'd have it looked at.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and they're pretty cheap. I would just replace them.
Just this morning, I woke up to hearing a big truck, and it was a fire truck, in my neighbor's yard. She lives alone. I know that. I saw them push something to get in her garage. I assume she gave him that information. If they couldn't, if they were like looking around the house, should I have gone over there or not? Would I have been in the way?
You'd probably be in the way. We're pretty good at getting into houses. Yeah.
I live at 1161.
And you want to give it to us, and you're friendly with the person, that's fine. But if you don't have something like, probably.
I live at 1161 South Meridian, just down from the fire department. About a year ago, I have a weak atrium, and I was having like a heart fluttering, going on. I went to the fire department, and when they checked me out, my blood pressure was 297 over 297. By rights, I should be dead, but I'm not. And they helped me out a lot. And then I had another episode where I fell, and I had a place on my head, and they came and took care of me. So I'm glad that the fire department was there, because I could have had some serious things happen to me.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. One sec. If you're thinking about calling, it's just better just to call us instead of waiting and it ended up not being the right decision. So it's just a lot easier if you guys just call us. Don't second guess that decision making there.
How do you handle dangerous animals like a dog or someone with a weapon?
We typically stand off for our own safety and have either PD or animal control come in and handle that, since that's their job, not ours.
I've seen videos of fire alarms going off, and like especially children and people in the house not waking up from hearing the alarms and switching over to an alarm where it's like one of the parents talking, saying, "Wake up, there's a fire, get out." Do you guys see that, or are the regular fire alarms, I mean, is that just kind of something they're trying to sell?
I have a newer home, and mine it says fire, fire. There's a fire alarm. It's really annoying, but it wakes me up. But it actually doesn't wake up my children, which is kind of handy because it's usually me burning the bacon. But but I'm kidding. But yeah, but seriously, yeah, some people just don't wake up to noises. At the firehouse, we sleep at the firehouse, and we get woken up to go on alarms. I get woken up by the lights. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I hear the tones that they give us, but my lights come on in our bunk room where we sleep, and that's really what kind of brings me to it. So if people are different, that's a good question. Yeah, if there's one, I don't know. My kids, when I try to get them up to go to school or get up for anything, they don't hear me. I don't know.
The gentleman asked about the mean animals. What if you've got a really friendly dog, say? Do you help get it out?
Yeah, we'll help people with the dog. At a fire, yeah, we rescue a lot of animals at fires. Yeah, I mean, we usually try to communicate that we're missing a cat or a dog, not a person, because sometimes people will come to us and they'll say Charlie's missing, so we immediately think that's a human being. So sometimes they'll clarify, well, Charlie's a cat. That's still important to us, but it's just a different level of important to us. So like the OV is no longer going to go, well, I'm probably not going to find that Charlie on one of my laps. We factor that under decision-making ability. We're probably going to find Charlie, because Charlie's a cat, hidden in we find them in drawers. We find because cats, they will burrow away. And then dogs run and generally bang all over everything and just try to get out because they're scared.
If you have electrical fire in your house, how long does it take for the smoke detector to go off, and how long do you have to get out if that smoke detector does not work?
It really kind of depends on just how fast the fire grows. We do have some electrical fires that are what's called, never get out of what we call like the smoldering phase, like up in somebody's attic. Those left unchecked, when they smolder all day, like along your rafters, where those get dangerous is then when people go to sleep at night, and then it finally ignites and starts to grow, and then when we show up, sometimes what we call it ginning. Your whole attic is just pushing smoke, and so then, a lot of those, if it hasn't made it down into the living area yet, we come in and we'll scare you half to death and pull you out of your bed and pull you outside, and then we'll try to get you out, and then we'll start cutting a hole in your roof and pull all the ceiling down, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, my whole house is on fire, because maybe from the inside it doesn't realize. So we have some of those where your smoke alarm may not even go off. It really depends on how much smoke is down in the area that you're in. It depends. But they're pretty sensitive, the new ones. Like when I burn the bacon, I'm like, I can't believe it's going off. It's not like I can eat it. I can eat this bacon.
Do you still go to people's homes and install fire smoke alarms for them?
Have you guys ever done a part of a program like that? No. When I was a younger fireman, we had a part-time program, and they paid us to do it, but I didn't do it for the money, but they did pay me a little bit of money. But I don't know, I was single and I didn't have a lot to do, and so they asked me, hey, do you want to be part of this special program that installs smoke detectors in people's homes? And I like to meet people and talk to people, so I said, sure, yeah. And it went on for it was like a federal funded thing, and it went on for 8 months, and then hey, you can't do that anymore if we don't do that. And so in general, we don't. We encourage you to, if you find one of us on the street and you have a smoke detector, we're probably just gonna, hey, we'll help you put it up. We'll help you with anything. But it's really more something we encourage you to find a handyman and have them put it up, because we want you to have if you're not able to repair your home and keep your home safe, that's another thing you can do to help yourselves. Is if you can't do some of those things on your own anymore, get a handyman. It might be an off-duty fireman, and hire them, and they'll do, hey, will you get all the paint off my windows where they open? Well, you can just start assigning them all kinds of things to do and just give them some money. Yeah.
So one we run into a lot is you might have just a list of prescription medications. It's helpful if you have that handy. Sometimes we have people handing us a tackle box of medications for 2 and 3 and 4 adults. So we have to go through, and they're all 30 letters long, and nobody can pronounce them. And EMS is going to have to get all those in. So if you could just keep those handy and current, they change a lot. Even dosages change a lot. That'd be something that'd be helpful, because it's going to come up every time you call 911. We always need to know what you're on, to see if maybe that has something to do with you feeling the way that you're feeling.
Is there a certain place where you place that?
Yeah, so they make those file of life. It's like just like yeah, it's magnetic. You can just slap it on the fridge. Those are helpful. We do actually look for those, as long as it's kept updated. And then, or just write them out, print them out, something handy in the purse, in the wallet, next to the TV remote, the things you don't lose.
We'll automatically look in some of the places where we know people keep medicine, near the refrigerator, in a cabinet, in the kitchen. It's very common. We're kind of snoopers. Maybe in your bathroom vanity. We'll go look around some of the obvious places, and then sometimes if someone doesn't like us snooping, they'll go, "It's over there." Oh, okay. But yeah.
Do you provide the service of coming to someone's home and mapping out the places where detectors and escapes should be done?
I mean, we don't. I mean, I think that was actually part of that program I worked in when I was younger. No, but again, if you happen to, you live in Riverside and we happen to be down the street and you snag one of us, we love people. We would probably come help you, but there's not a formal way we do that. But we want to educate you, kind of some of the things we've covered. Just if you have smoke detectors, make sure your exits work, your windows work, keep debris picked up. Those are major items that will really help us help you.
Yes, I have a question reference the carbon monoxide detectors. 2 questions, actually. The literature that comes with them says the battery will last forever. Should we go with that, or should those batteries be replaced when you replace a battery in your smoke detector?
If the battery says it's okay, then I think that's okay information. On the CO detectors, they just have a shelf life. Unless you're spending, how much money are we talking? Are you spending like $30 for a CO detector? Yeah, or $50.
I know the one of them we have, I think, said the battery would last like for 10 years.
Yeah, and at that 10-year period, most of them are rated like a smoke detector. So every 10 years, everybody needs to replace their whole smoke detector anyway. They're only good for 10 years because the sensors in them are constantly being exposed to the air, and so they become desensitized and worn out. And so the detectors we carry are very, very, very expensive, and and they wear out even quicker and need calibration. So the more you spend, the more accurate and better it's going to work, but the more service it needs. So the cheaper ones are fine. It's just We make a lot of alarms where we just tell people, you need a new CO detector, don't we? Yeah.
Another question too, is there any way to test the carbon monoxide detector to make sure it's working, like you can test a smoke detector?
Breathe on it. Will it go off if you do that? Okay. Our outside vent man here says if you breathe on it, it'll irritate it and go off. If you're going to go put it in your tailpipe of your car or something like that, and it was a cheap smoke detector or CO detector, you probably just took a couple years off its life, but it'll go off. But if it's working,
You had two programs, oh gosh, I'm going to give my age, when I was in school, just yesterday, of course. One was you was giving out stickers that you could put on windows that would signify that this is a bedroom or this is an area where a bed is that someone's sleeping. And do you still encourage people to put their information of, name, address, meds, all of this stuff in the plastic bag in the refrigerator?
yeah,
Inside the fridge.
the refrigerator is a common place we look. So yeah, anything you want to do that you're comfortable doing to give us information, if you live alone or you're the only one at home and we happen to find you unconscious, or where we're in a state where your blood sugar is lower, we just can't. You're not making any sense. Maybe you've, hopefully not, and like someone had a stroke or something. They're not making any sense, but they're alert, but they're not totally they're not with it. Any information you can do to give us, we'll use. And then on a bedroom, our outside vent man here, obviously he's looking for those stickers. He's not going to find them very often because most people don't want them on their windows, I'll be honest with you. But we know, but part of his training and what we're in people's houses, dwellings all the time, so we know what a bedroom looks like from the outside, as we study how houses are built. And so it doesn't mean someone can't be sleeping in the living room, right? We find all kinds of weird things, but maybe it's a mobility issue. I don't like going all the way back into the bedroom anymore, so I sleep out here. So that's somewhat common. And then you don't have a bedroom door, and then you're breaking all the rules I told you, but we're still going to come help you and look for you.
I needed your services at one time, and I gave them my combination to get into the garage, and they came to the door, and I thought they were going to beat the front door down, and then I don't know who came, the police or whatever, came with the combination and opened it. Do they not give the combination to everybody that's coming?
If you tell 911 the combination, they'll pass it along to us. But sometimes what happens most frequently, we're a bunch of brutes and we'll come bang on. But sometimes what happens is we pull up to your address. We're probably not that far away. We get there pretty fast. We pull up and then we come off, we dismount, we start heading towards your house. And about that point, you're still, a lot of times, if you're with it, you're still on the phone with 911, if they can, or a call taker. And so they'll go, and then I've got a garage code. And then all of a sudden our computer and our rig will ding, ding, here's a garage code. And then sometimes we're banging on your front door like a bunch of brutes, or like we're looking at your windows. What we'll do is we'll go, Johnny, go find a window, see if you can find a window open. And obviously we're looking for people with weapons. And we're looking for mean dogs, because if you come in my window, I might pull a gun on you. So I get it, but because I'm going to protect my home if I have to. I don't want someone just coming in my window, but hopefully if you called.
I did.
Yeah, right. But there could be someone else in your house that doesn't know you called. So we find all kinds of odd things. This thing doesn't really like me, does it? Does that answer your question? Yeah, so sometimes it's just delayed, and then we'll go, and then they'll radio us, oh, hey, truck one, there's a garage code, it's 789. Oh, hey, don't break that window, let's go through the garage.
I volunteer for the Humane Society and take care of a lot of dogs, and people tell me now that they're putting in doggy doors in the bedroom door in order to let their dog and cat in but keep the bedroom door closed. Doesn't that defeat the purpose?
Well, there's a really good one, has a seal. Has anybody seen that? The whole get low and go thing, so like when you're lower, where the dog door is, it's going to be the last place that it does compromise the door, because you took probably a hollow core door that most people have in their bedroom that will keep fire and smoke away for actually a long time. And so that's gonna compromise first. But if it's gonna compromise the doggy door, it's probably starting to burn through the top anyway. And we're at that point where we're really trying to get you out. We really want you out. Good question. I haven't seen a lot of that, but it makes sense.
I have two questions. One is, I worked on an 8th floor downtown, and they used to say the fire department's ladders would only go to the 4th floor. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm going to let Johnny take this one. How tall can you get on the?
So on our ladder, the ladder is 100 feet. It'll go 100 feet tall. So depending on where you're at in the building, I can get effectively to about the 9th floor if I need to. Now I say if I need to because if it's 100 feet straight up, once I start going at an angle, I lose some height. So if I know you're in the 9th floor, I can park right next to it and get up there, but I'd say effectively I can get about 6, maybe 7, generally.
The other question was, on 9/11, what changes have been made for the fire department? Because they all used to just rush in, and that didn't work so well.
I'm push back on you just to touch on that. 9/11 is the greatest American rescue by a fire department that has ever happened. Thousands and thousands of people were rescued. I have some friends that they're retired now, that because I was a young fireman when 9/11 happened, and so when I met some people up there, and those gentlemen are all retired now. Some of them, unfortunately, died or struggling with cancer. But all those 343 of those men were happy to, not happy, we're not looking to die, but if we have a mandate to you first, and if that means that, unfortunately, sometimes once in a while something will happen. That was a dark day for the fire service, but it was also most of the members of the FDNY view that it was when they get past all their friends that they lost, and most of the guys on the job that lost people that they knew are either in senior leadership for the department or are retired. They also, but it was the greatest day we've ever had in some ways, because they rescued they got so many people out and helped so many people out. So I mean, it's our job when you guys are going out to go in. There was some delays and some communication on some stuff like, hey, we're not going to go in this tower over here. We're not going to. But really, after everybody I've talked to, and really probably nothing different would happen today. Everybody would rush in to try to get you out because you're more important than themselves. Does that make sense? Yeah. Good question, though.
All right. Well, guys, we are coming up on intermission. I don't know if Fire Station Wichita Fire can stay past the intermission or not, but I wanted to give a quick round of applause to these gentlemen. They are true heroes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys for everything you do and for coming out here and just sharing a little bit of knowledge. A lot of the things we talked about this morning, in the second half, we have information to hand out to you guys on smoke detectors and all that sort of thing. For the people that are hearing impaired, I've got applications to get a smoke detector that has a light on it, that sort of thing. So we have all that to hand out to you guys later. But Wichita Fire, thank you guys ever so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Brian,
If you guys can hang around, great. If not, there's a hot dog truck out there too.
Brian, can we have one more question?
Oh, one more question. Sure.
When you mentioned the list of meds on the refrigerator, I have an alternate plan, and I don't know if it would work, but my phone, when you just jiggle it and pick it up, it has an emergency button on it. You press that, and you get all the information, all my contact people, all the information about my health, meds, and it's right there. Do you use that? Because my phone is by my head at night, so it's right there available. What do you recommend?
Well, to be honest with you, that sounds a little bit new to me. It's probably where we're headed in some ways. We probably need some training from, on that as far as yes, most people we come in contact with have a cell phone in their area or their person. Usually they're worried, oh, it's more of like, where's my cell phone? I'd like to take it with me to the hospital. I think you're like way ahead of the curve here. So like maybe you need to teach us like that. I wouldn't think to do that. Most people go, that's my phone, that's private, give me my phone. That's the way most people are with their phone, aren't they?
Yeah, so everybody has their phone, but just like Captain was saying, they're almost always locked, so we do not inherently go for the phone. So if you have some way to relay that information, I mean, if you're awake and you can tell us, we will absolutely do it, but if you're unconscious, we're not going to check it.
No, this is an app, and it has an emergency button. You do not have to unlock the phone. You
Right,
hit
but-
that emergency button, and this specifically gives the information for emergency people to take care of you with contacts, meds, medical condition. It doesn't give you any of the other private information, only what you want the emergency people to have available.
And that's great. What I'm saying is that we don't check phones because yours is likely the only phone in the room that has that doesn't need some type of thumbprint or eye scan to unlock. So we're not going to check phones. If you can relay that information, then we'll use it 100%. But if you're unconscious and you're not able to relay that information, we probably would overlook being able to utilize that. I agree. I don't know that they can necessarily keep data like that. For instance, anybody that has like those fall pendants, they don't have the best success rate when people hit their button because a lot of times the address is out of date. We went to one just last shift in the middle of the night. We were standing outside the right apartment complex, but the lady had moved to another apartment. So she was just laying there waiting. She had no way to tell us, and the apartment number they had on file was inaccurate. Actually, what I found to be the best, it's worked several times on calls that we've been to, is Apple has a fall detection with an Apple Watch. You can get it to notify anybody you want, and it also sends a call to 911. I've had 100% success making calls on a fall detection from an Apple Watch. I think those medical pendants are, 20% success rate. Yeah, I would encourage everyone to look into something that has a little bit of a GPS to it rather than just a medical pendant alone.
I appreciate you guys. Really quick, before we get into the second half and going over all the information that we just passed out, I wanted to pass the mic over here to Mindy. She can tell you about her episode that's airing this week, correct? Next week. So I want her to tell you all about it.
Thank you, Brian. Well, I just wanted to remind everybody that the spin-off show to Empowering Seniors, my show, Ageless Enthusiasm, is on a week from tonight. And we're doing a little bit different outlook. I have a plastic surgeon who's going to be talking about procedures and trends and things for both men and women. So I want all the gentlemen to tune in as well. And if you're not ready to commit to the recovery or the investment of plastic surgery, I have a top-notch stylist who works with men and women. It's Tambra Heiser of Tambra and Company, and she will tell you what you can do to maintain a youthful and enthusiastic-looking appearance. So don't forget to watch my show. It's on Channel 8 at 8 o'clock next Thursday, October 19th, and I'm following Victor Hogstrom's one-on-one. So thank you for watching. I appreciate your support.
Thank you so much, Mindy. All right. How was the first part of today? Pretty good? Love it. Really briefly, I want to go over some information that was already on the tables when you guys first came in, and then we're going to touch on a few of the pieces that we left behind for you just now, and then we'll open more questions and answers and I brought up some additional resources for you. The very first page I want to go over is this grid page. This comes from the Kansas Fire Marshals program, and this is for you guys to be able to sit back and just run a quick sketch of your house and all your exit plans. Where are the doors? Where are the windows? What do we need to keep clear? And then you can even draw that little tree that we all knew as a kid. Hey, we're meeting on that tree across from the street of the neighbor's house, right? So make sure you put that place on. If there are additional people in your household, where are you guys going to meet when you get out of the home, okay? So that form is your fire escape plan, and I left that there for you. The other form that we left briefly is a little survey. Before you guys leave today, do me a favor. We're always trying to find topics that may help you guys out in different ways. So this is a little bit more on the medical side, but what topics might drive you to want to come back and learn more about next year, okay? We're developing new programs. Katherine is always thinking about different things to do. This is also going to help me in my job on the home health side come up with more topics and more things to go over. So please fill that out and just leave it on your table when you guys go to leave, okay? All right. Now, we talked this morning about smoke detectors, right? And we talked about how we want to have smoke detectors on at least every level. And one of the key things that I always remember hearing is you want to hear the beep where you sleep. If that means you have to put, and Captain talked about this morning, if that means you have to put a smoke detector right outside your bedroom door, right? Especially the ones that are tied in throughout the rest of the house. So if a smoke detector in the kitchen's going off, the one in the bedroom door goes off. That's really, really important because we do want you guys to be able to be awoken, right? There's a couple of pieces of information I'm going to bring in here a little bit just because of some past experiences I've had. Earlier this year, we had some issues with a couple patients whose mobility had declined and they became bedbound, okay? So I'm going to pose a couple of questions to the fire department here in just a minute about what happens when you're bedbound. How do you barricade in your room, right? Or how do you have somebody try to barricade you in your room so you have the best chance of getting out? Captain already gave you one of the biggest ones. While you're in there, shut your bedroom door. That bedroom door is going to hold back a lot of heat, a lot of fire, a lot of smoke, giving these guys time to get to you, right? Another form that we put out there is just heating systems and safeties with heating systems. And there they talk about the carbon monoxide detector and that sort of thing. And the last form that I handed out is just general home fire safety, okay? So all of those are for you to keep. If you have any additional questions or want to research any of this more, please go right on to the Kansas Fire Marshal's website, okay? It's on the bottom of those pages. There's tons of information, videos to watch. They talk about how once that smoke detector goes off, you guys have 2 minutes to get out. It's a really great video. These guys might be able to tell you a little bit more why that is, but I would encourage everybody to go on there. I didn't want to put it on the screen because some people are a little sensitive, and it's not, we don't want to see our houses go up in flames, right? Really quick, I'm going to have Jennifer introduce herself. Jennifer is with Comfort Keepers. Comfort Keepers is an in-home care company. You want to tell them a little bit about what you do and what Comfort Keepers does?
Yes. So I'm the care coordinator. We go into your home and help with any what we call ADLs or IDLs, and that's basically what we call just your everyday living activities in your home. You may not need any personal care, but we're there for personal care if you need it, whether that's showering, bathing, toileting, or maybe your loved one does, and you're providing that service for them, and you need to get back to maybe the spouse versus the caretaker to give yourself some respite care. But on the other end, we are a non-health care agency, meaning that we're able to help with housekeeping, organization. We were talking about, the cluttering piece of things. There's many times that when I go into a home, I'll be the first face you see. I come in the home and we do what's called a care consultation. We talk about maybe the personal care things that you might need. And then we get into more of what we call the home safety assessment. And there's things that we'll walk around the house and talk about where, I'll go into a home just a couple months ago, and I get into the home and she introduces herself and we're sitting down and I hear this beep in the background. And I know what the beep is, but we're gonna have this conversation, and she says, this beeping has been going off for about 2 weeks, and my grandson's gonna be in town from Arizona next week and he's gonna check that out for me. When really it was just a changing a battery and the fire alarm that was in the hallway. But she hadn't, didn't understand what was going on. Something was broken in the house. And so when we recognize things like that, we can help kind of bridge that gap between some of those safety concerns. I've had, we all love our family members that are enforcing what they would like for us to do in our homes. I've had granddaughter come in town, hadn't seen grandma in forever, runs to Ross, gets her the most beautiful bathroom stuff for her bathroom because grandma deserves it. But grandma uses a walker, and granddaughter doesn't realize that it's actually a safety risk for her to have those mats in the bathroom, where the safe place would to be providing maybe the right handrails for them to get in and out of the bathroom safe, or even in the toilet area. We have other we're just going to walk through the house and look at all those concerns that we've actually talked about today and how we can help bridge that gap between sometimes the falls that we're experiencing aren't necessarily a safety risk from something in the home. Maybe it's we're not getting up on those normal times that we're used to and taking our medications on times, and some of those things sometimes are a reason why we're not the best on our feet if we've maybe taken our blood pressure medication a little later than we should have, which is why it's super important that we share the same goal with them. When you come on with Comfort Keepers, we require you to have your current medication list and your wishes and all that in you can slap it on the side of a refrigerator. It's probably the first place that I'm going to guess that people look for things, is that's going to have all the information that's going to help all of us help you. And we have you sign a release that allows us to maybe get that current information from your provider, because sometimes you can get into a situation where we're so used to taking certain medications and then you've gone to the ER and they've added something, and that doesn't necessarily make it to the right people. And so typically we're going to ask that we review that every 90 days. I'll make sure that we have the most current information so that if they go into your home and you're unconscious but they see Comfort Keepers as a provider in your home, they can even, reach out to us especially if you're unconscious and you have no family or they don't know who to call. We're kind of that advocate for you to kind of bridge some of that gap.
Absolutely.
So we're going to make those recommendations to do those safety things. Also help you with those things. Do you have a railing up to your stairs? Or has the I've even seen this. I've gone into a home and somebody was a former electrician and they knew how to fix anything under the earth. And you've got grandpa who got 6-year-old grandson and they're putting together something that they just twist together, put a twist tie on it and call it good. And sometimes those things pose more of a risk than it does reaching out to the right folks to have somebody come out and look at those types of things.
Very good. So what I want you guys to understand is this. Katherine talks all the time about you have to be curious, remain curious, always ask the questions. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and that's one of my mantras, right? You guys come to seminars like this to learn the pieces that are available to you that you may not have even known existed. Jennifer, when you go out there to do an assessment on a home with somebody, maybe they need care now, maybe they don't. What does that charge? What do you charge for that?
Well, we don't charge anything. First, you make a phone call to the office. We kind of talk about maybe what you're thinking. And then, with your permission, it's me. I come out and visit with you in your home or any other loved ones you want to be there. We talk about maybe the things that you're having difficulties with, or maybe potentially need information that you might have in the future. Or the other things I think about is sometimes you have a spouse that we don't necessarily tell our loved ones maybe what's going on or what we're struggling with, and we don't know how to get that right resource. Just a little bit of a story, like my own personal story, because I don't mind sharing it, is that I was raised by my grandparents, and he had Alzheimer's really, really bad, and this was, I'll age myself, but 20 or 30 years ago. And we were traveling, and we used to take him all the time. We could take him, and he wouldn't leave the car. And one time we were in Branson, and he got out of the car, and we couldn't find him. And he was in the middle of the parking lot somewhere using the restroom and thought we were the crazy ones. And we realized at that point we couldn't take Grandpa probably places anymore, and it had become a point where we couldn't manage it. And we were driving back into Wichita from Branson, and I had my little baby in the car, and my grandma was in the back seat, and Grandpa decided to reach over and grab the wheel from me. And of course, I'm freaking out. I've got my brand new baby in the back. My grandma's trying to do what she can, and I'm speeding, probably because I was trying to get home to Wichita faster. But I get pulled over, and I'm in tears, and I'm crying, and I'm trying to explain to the officer what's going on, and he clearly looks over, and my grandpa says, well, she fails. We're not passing her. Did you see what she did? She didn't take off the right way. My grandfather was a V-52 program director here for many, many years, and he was also a fighter pilot. So in his mind, he was teaching me how to fly in a plane. And I was just trying to get home back to safe to Wichita. But at that point, we realized that it was time to bring in somebody for my grandmother because she wasn't being honest with us about the things that were what I call silent safety concerns. You know, we don't want to talk about those things because then our children are going to make us want to do this, and we may not be ready for all of that. And so during a consult, we talk about kind of where we're at, what we may need. I met somebody in here today. We talked about, if you just need help maybe one day a week, one day every other week, we're not here to tell you need care for 8 hours a day when you don't need somebody in your home for 8 hours a day. We're here to find those moments that you just need a little bit of research right now so that as you go down your venture or things might change in your home or your medical condition might change or your loved one's medical condition might change, we're here whatever that might look like. And if you choose to keep them home, we're here for you as well. If you go into a nursing home or community living, you can bring services like myself, Brian's services, Pam's services. There are many, many great folks that can help bridge that gap without having to make a huge significant change in your life. You just need that little bitty assistance, that little side assistant that can help you as much or as little as you may need.
Absolutely. And while we're on the topic, Captain, fire service is not charged to come out and run alarms, correct?
Correct.
Right. So that's all complimentary as well. When we're talking about in-home safety and we're talking about trying to keep people where they want and living as vibrantly as they possibly can, there's sometimes we need to know that there's additional resources out there. I told you guys earlier I work for a home health company. We also do safety assessments when we go in the home. We don't charge you for those things, right? Now, different parts of my business, for instance, if you had physical therapy or occupational therapy coming out, they're going to charge your insurance and they're going to do a very specific safety assessment to what their job is. Right? My nurses go out there and they do a medication safety check. What medications are you on? Is your file of life filled out correctly? Can we put this on the fridge for you? Right? So this is a continuum of care team, not just myself, but Pam Crawford back there with Providence, right? Home Health and Hospice. And all of the education partners that are in here are here to say, come to us first. We have ways of helping you avoid the worst case disaster scenarios. These guys at the fire department are very, very good at what they do. I promise you, they'd much rather see you here and talking to you here than on your worst day when your house just burned down and you lost all your things and somebody got hurt, right? Okay, I'm going to open the floor up to questions. Jennifer, you have one more thing?
Yeah, I do want to say, because I did tell him I was going to tell you, sometimes there's huge stigma on, oh my goodness, if they called a fire department, one, it's going to be embarrassing because my neighbors all see that I'm at that point, right? That's what we all, they come in and, but 9 times out of 10, that's typically not what I hear or see that truly happens. And the other aspect of it is, even though we might be in your home, because it is a question that I get, is what if my loved one falls? Can you help them get up? And as much as I'm stubborn and I try, I have to put the rules first, it's easy for me to want to reach down and help you get up. And there'll be times that you can get up on your own and that's okay as well. But if you go down, it is our policy as well that we do have to call a lift assist as well. And it's not because we don't think that you might be able to get up. I've had a circumstance where sweet Sally got up, she's doing okay, but Sally wasn't being honest with our staff about how she was feeling, and her blood pressure was extremely crazy out of the roof, and she did have an incident that happened after we left our shift, and in those moments, you have to recognize that your safety is what matters to us. You can be upset with us for calling them. They're there for that, like they've explained. It's there to keep you safe. They're going to do some quick vitals and make sure that you are it's actually, you don't have to go to the ER. You can get checked out at the home. You don't have to go spend 5 hours at the ER to tell you that you're doing okay or that you may need that second look. So as much sometimes as our pride gets in the way, it definitely is about being safe as well for our staff. We don't want our staff to injure themselves, helping you get up. But that is, I don't know if that's how, I'm going to guess most of the agencies like ourselves, it's the same across the board. And I just like to explain that, no, it doesn't cost every time we have to call them, but we do understand that, it is for a safe reason why we do that.
Very good. Any questions along that line? We got one back here. As we're moving microphones around and everything else, I'm going to continue the conversation just a little bit. Captain, when the fire department goes out, do you guys like having these additional resources in the community already in the home saying, hey, this is where the meds are, these are what's going on, or maybe a family member?
Yeah, any of that information is always helpful because when we can, it speeds up the process of us helping you. Because once, and like she was saying, once we get you up, the next question, like one of these gentlemen is going to ask, like, sweetheart, why did you fall? Did you trip? Did you trip on the rug? Is it just a oopsie daisy? Or is your blood pressure low? Like, what's the cause of your fall? Like, because it could be, is it medical related, or is it just, oh, I'm clumsy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with me. Or, I've got this club foot and then I fell. And so any information we can have, whether it's from the medical alert tag or we had a retired paramedic in the room that we met during break. She brought up something really good that when we do look for it, we should have mentioned it earlier, and what would relate to the cell phone question is medical bracelets. Like, so if you have something you really want us to know, if it's on a medical bracelet, we're coming to interact with your body, you as a person, and we're going to find things we're looking at your wrists to see if you have any kind of thing that says I'm a diabetic. Oh, well, that totally alters everything. That's probably why you fell. And now the course of action is to get your blood sugar up and then determine, do you want to go to the hospital? Are you struggling with this every day, or is this just an isolated low blood sugar incident? So it could say something as simple as, grab my phone and shake it, and there's an app. You can put anything, if you have something on there, we're looking for it. I mean, generally it'll say something like, I fall a lot, or it can have a phone number of my son on there, or it'll have, say it might say you have a stent, or you have some kind of heart condition. That's really good information for us to know if you've fallen. It helps us narrow down, like, why did you fall?
Yeah, I have a question for the firefighters. If you have bullets in your guns, for your guns and oxygen at home, you should just get out and let you guys know on the phone call, or how should you be alerted that this house has all this in it? Because I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to just keep running. And the minute I get out the door, because those bullets are going to go everywhere when a fire strikes to that area.
Yeah, that's information that you can relay to dispatch, and the earlier you relay that in the phone call, they've got their questions they have to ask, and one of them they will ask is hazardous materials. That's one of the early questions in what we call the pro Q&A when they're trying to determine what type of event you're having. That's certainly something you could bring up, and that's one that we almost always get that information immediately en route. That's certainly pertinent, and if for some reason it slipped your mind, there's going to be 20, 30 firefighters running up to the scene. You can stop any one of them and just, real quick, I'm the homeowner. There is oxygen in the back of the house. There are firearms in a safe in the basement. Just make it quick because we're trying to get up to the fire. But if you have that pertinent information, it's always helpful to relay it. And we do a good job of communicating on our radios to make sure everybody knows of what needs to be known.
Yeah, I tried to put a sign in the window about the oxygen.
Back. Real quick on the oxygen topic, we got any smokers in the room? Nope, is that kind of faded away? Does nobody smoke anymore? Okay, good. Do not smoke with your oxygen on. I cannot emphasize how many alarms I've been to that have just wounded people very critically, if not killed them, just from smoking, just doing the whole, and it happens. But please don't do that. If you need to smoke a cancer stick, take your oxygen off. Okay.
Back to the fire alarms. Are any of the fire alarms, we have two of them, one in the kitchen, one in the hallway between the bedrooms. Are they all of them battery operated, or are they wired into the electrical system?
Some of them are wired into the electrical system with a backup with the battery operated, but then you can also buy a separate one that is just battery operated.
Yeah, I've never heard mine chirping at all for over a year now. And I don't know if it's wired into the electrical system or what. I guess I need to get a hold of the owner and find out exactly what's going on to make sure they're operating. Thank you.
That's a great question. Any other questions right now? No? Okay. One of the things we didn't have a whole lot of time earlier because we had so many great questions was storm safety. And how many people in here have a storm kit pre-done, ready to go, right? We're in Tornado Alley, right? This is probably pretty typical, right? Any idea what we should be putting in those storm kits? Any thoughts? Water? What's your address? Hold on, we're going to your house. Alcohol. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. So we had water come up, right? How about a first aid kit? Yes, sir? First aid? Yeah, work boots. That's a great thing. Make sure you have good, sturdy footwear. Sleeping bag, okay? A whistle. Why would we have a whistle in there? Right, yeah. If the firemen are coming to find you and you're blowing a whistle, they're going to hear you a heck of a lot better than, hey, Jim, right? Yes, ma'am. A set of clothes? Right? Because when we need these things, it's generally going to be at night, right? We're settling in, we're just getting comfy, and so we're maybe in some shorts and a T-shirt. But what's going to happen if your house blows away, right? You're going to want to have some sturdy clothes to keep you warm, right? What else do we want to keep in that kit? Meds. In your first aid kit, please, please, please do me a favor and keep at least 3 or 4 days worth of your meds in that first aid kit. If you can keep a week or 2, even better. Did you hear that? What Jennifer recommends is your pill planners, where you already are separating out your med, have a separate one for a week and just have that in your emergency kit, in your first aid kit in the box. Yes, ma'am. Sure. So a lot of these kits, I've actually put one together very, very simply, bought a lot of things at Walmart, right? $100 and maybe $120, and there's more things in there that I'll tell you about. But you can put them in a small tote, keep them underneath the stairs. If you have stairs in your house, in the basement, obviously, crawl space, keep it, God forbid if you live in a trailer park or something like that where you have to travel to an emergency shelter, keep it in the trunk of your car. Right? If you're going to go to that emergency shelter anyway, take your car, park it, grab your kid out, and go inside the emergency shelter, right? So, any other places you guys might recommend storing a yeah? Yeah, you got to have a light source. I actually don't keep flashlights in mine. I'm a little bit lazy. I keep a headlamp. And my thought process is if I have to go through debris, if I have to try to help somebody, I've got a headlamp on. They're cheap nowadays, $10, $15 for a nice battery-operated headlamp. And that way it's always on my person and I don't have to worry about it, right? But that's just my personal thing. What about a multi-tool, right? Small set of pliers, a file, that sort of thing, a small knife to cut open something if you had to, right? Food, right? A couple days worth of food. Shoes, yes, good sturdy shoes. Anybody have any idea how long it takes FEMA to activate? If there was a mass disaster and we had to bring in FEMA, the federal government, God forbid, right? How long does it take them to get here? Anybody know? Fire guys, you guys know? It's a minimum of 3 days.
Yeah, it's probably going to be at least 3 days. It may depend on people like our governor and different politicians and how things interact and things like that and how those types of state and federal requests work. But they're going to come in and the idea is the Wichita Fire Department and the county fire department, we've exhausted our resources. We're exhausted. We probably already have Derby and all kinds of other agencies like helping back us up. Maybe Hutchinson Fire Department, even if something ever got that bad. As cities support one another before FEMA would get here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nice thing about this emergency kit, and I know I mentioned it being a storm kit, but this can be used in so many other scenarios, right? Your power goes out. Well, you've got extra blankets, you've got food, you've got some water, right? Could be in the heat of the summer, could be in the dead of the winter, we don't know. But little things like that happen, and when you have these small emergency kits set, you have less stress. You don't have to worry about it. I've already pre-thought through that, right? I would tell you go through it seasonally, right? So when you change your batteries on your smoke detector twice a year, go through your emergency kit twice a year, right? Take out that old food, replace it with new food, always shelf stable, that sort of thing, right? But just go through that. Check your medications in there. Hey, are these the right medications, or did my medications change in the last couple of months? Yes, ma'am.
Don't forget
Food. Right, food for your pet. That's a great idea.
And bowls to serve it in for his good. Like my dog would drink out of the cup. She'll drink out of anything, but I had a no dog that would not drink out of anything but a plastic bowl. So
Right.
you gotta think of those little things too. And you should have your own cups, collectible cups, plastic silverware, like Ricky Coleman silverware.
Right. So some old silverware or dinnerware. Absolutely. So somebody just said traditional hiking gear if you're going on a hike. Who here was last month with those ladies up here, right? That was a hoot and such a blast. But if you already have a hiking pack that's pre-packed with some water in there and some other things, well, now there's your kit, right? You add a couple other things, your boots to it, maybe the walking sticks, right? So you have something to help you on uneven ground. And you guys have got a great setup already as a small emergency kit. I like that. What's that? Yeah. A portable charger for your cell phone or for your Apple Watch, anything like that, a little charger. I will tell you the piece that I use a lot, it's a little crank radio, right? It's this little itty bitty box. It's about $30 or $40. It's got the weather safety radio built into it, so it'll alert you if a tornado's in the area, that sort of thing. I always, when I go down to my basement in the shelter with the kids, that's what we turn on. Well, on there, I can also crank and have a little USB, so I can sit there. It's going to take me a while, but I can charge my cell phone by cranking this little thing up, right? And it has a flashlight on it and all that sort of thing. Check out Walmart or some of those places. They have these things. Yeah. That's a great idea. For those that are hard of hearing, did you guys catch that? She said because she's hard of hearing, she has a neighbor alerted that if a storm alert is coming on, maybe she'll answer her phone, maybe she won't. The neighbor will call her. If she doesn't answer her phone, the neighbor goes over and says, hey, we got to go, right? Having those backups. All of this keeps you guys independent, living your best life, and in control of your situation, right? Not that we don't want to call the fire department and have them help, and they would gladly come out and do it, but if we can help ourselves, now we're a resource for the rest of our neighbors and the rest of our community and the people that can't help themselves, right? Any additional questions for these gentlemen or this lady on safety in the home, storm safety, anything like that that we can do just to keep you guys going? Yes, ma'am. The question was, is the bathroom still the best place to go if you don't have like a basement or another place to go that's dedicated as a storm safety? You guys want to take this or?
Yeah, if you don't have a basement or a Frady hole or a cellar or somewhere to go, and it's that imminent, you know, you can't go out in the elements. You know, what tends to be left if something's left is like things that have lots of small angles where the walls are stouter and smaller and don't give as much. Nobody's promising that the bathroom walls are going to be there, but getting low, the porcelain tub might survive if you can lay in that, if you have if you have a porcelain tub still. But just getting as low as you can, and it might just come by and rip the roof off and leave you alone, but we just never know how catastrophic it could be, like Greensburg or something like that. Which is common. I mean, is there a storage basement or somewhere you can go, like even if it's half tall? No lower level. No lower level. Yeah.
There's the first floor and there's the second floor, and we both live on the first floor. I mean, we have the fire department nearby, but that's
a lower stairwell that is enclosed. It would.
Nothing's enclosed outside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, so it's still the bathroom?
Yeah, that probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
I just what you just mentioned kind of made me think of something as well, that sometimes we we don't pay attention to, can I and my loved one get out safely regardless of whether it's a fire or whether it's a tornado. Sometimes we think, oh, my neighbor might be able to come get me, or I know I'm okay, but my husband doesn't get around very well. And that's part of what we talk about during our safety assessment when we come to the home is, can you legitimately get to a safe place in a reasonable amount of time? And if you can't answer yes to that question, then you do require some safety assistance in your home for your loved one, because you're putting yourself and your loved one at an unknown risk because you think it's not going to happen to you. And it's that moment that a tornado's coming in and it's a bad day for you and your knees aren't working well and you can't get your husband from the bedroom to the basement because he can't get down the stairs. So having those conversations about some of those safety things, regardless of whether it's a winter storm. And I had a client where they accidentally got on email billing in the summer. Somebody made a call, and nowadays they try to force us into a lot of things that are easier for those to handle, but we've paid our bills for month by a check and in the mail. And somebody's now gotten their electric bill on an email. And then for 2 months, you don't pay your bill, and guess what? It's 106 degrees outside, and they've cut your AC because you had you've been waiting for you just thought they were just behind. They didn't send me the bill, when it's really been coming to an email that you had no idea that it was happening.
It's really great. All right, guys, that is kind of the time we have today. I appreciate Wichita Fire, Jennifer, Comfort Keepers coming up here. I want to thank all of our educational sponsors that are out there. Morris Lang and American Senior Benefits. You guys are always so wonderful. Catholic Care, or Catholic Charities, rather. And then we've got Comfort Keepers over here and Pam with Providence Home Health and Hospice. Thank you guys ever so much. Please come back next month. We've got the last couple of pieces this year is going to be a lot of fun. Hold on if I can get there. There we are. There we go. Cashing in on the American Dream, that's next month on the 7th. That'll be a lot of fun. And then December 12th, liquidating your extra stuff and our best packing and moving tips. I know that Catherine's got a lot of fun tips with this, and it's going to be a lot of blast. Usually around the holidays, we have some fun things going on too. So please come back next couple of months. Thank you guys ever so much. Have a great day.